Welcome to the podcast where we explore Islam through truth, knowledge, and open conversation. Here, we discuss Islamic history, media narratives, world events, misconceptions about Muslims, and the questions many people are afraid to ask. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this platform. Our mission is to encourage respectful dialogue, deeper understanding, and honest discussion about Islam and the global Muslim community. Viewer discretion is advised, because real conversations can challenge perspectives. Now, let's begin.
For sisters, Muslims to wear hijabs. I have to wear hijabs in the religion of Islam. Why do you say that?
Well, we talked about this.
First of all, let me tell people why women wear the hijab. Because it says in the Quran that the woman should be modest, she should be covered up, and her beauty should be shown only to her family and to her husband. But he said this is wrong, and I want you to elaborate on that.
Well, women have the right to express their beauty. I mean, that's why they were created, to celebrate with the feminine. You have the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is expression of the divine. The masculine is expression of the divine. And when women cover up, this is my belief that you're denying or you're kind of closing off that expression of the divine. Women, you look at them, whether it be makeup, no makeup, they are beautiful creatures. The feminine, you have either the yin and the yang. Mm-hmm. So I believe that I disagree with him for whatever reason. He came up with that, he just said women, he wanted to control whatever reason. But if we look back before Islam, the Arabian Peninsula, the Arabian culture, women did the belly dancers, the magical, I think the Arabian people they were prosperous, they were doing much better. But I believe that he kind of stifled their growth. And Islam, I think that because of his short-sightedness, he was because of his own prejudice or fears, he did not reveal the whole message that was given to him. He did not include everyone. Today, women are brutalized. They're throwing people. They're mutilated. If they're not adhering to the Quran, they're beaten. They're violated. They're raped. They're putting acid on their face. So I think today, you asked me about what misconceptions. I think some Arabs, some white. The Africans are pretty peaceful. But my thing is, since Islam belongs to the Arabs, that's their religion, and the black people, that's their home, the Nation of Islam. So since the Arabs that's their religion. They can call the shots. But I believe that women before the Prophet Muhammad was more. I know you're going to say that there was tribal disputes. Certain women were. Again, like in the Native American people, we have different tribes, the Comanches, Apaches. So in the Arabian Peninsula, they were tribes, but women were celebrated for their beauty. They were honored. And now they're being punished, about the whole legalism, about the burqa, this. So that's my opinion, but I believe that women have not been empowered by Islam. I think they're not valued for as far as their feminine qualities. They're sheltered away, hidden away like they're ugly. So and a lot of young girls have been raised to wear the hijab, but I think if you ask them privately and say, well, I'm tired of wearing this. I know we got to follow the tenets of the Quran, but personally, I'm tired of it's hot outside. It's summertime, it's 100 degrees, and I got to wear this damn thing. They're like, can I just be free? And so they said, I'm sure the Arab would say, I'm not ugly. Why do I got to hide? I know the Quran says it is modesty, modernity, but
so the Islamic sisters to say the hell with the hijab, I'm gonna do what I want.
It's hot.
I'm saying that's what they should do. Say the hell with the hijab and the burqa. Damn it, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Well, I think that if you have a disagreement in your religion and your faith, it's nothing wrong with having a discussion. Say maybe there could be reforms. Mm-hmm. I don't think it should be just it says this in the story. I think that even in Christianity, they had the Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther, the Catholic Church, mm-hmm. and the Catholic Church was committing a lot of corruption, a lot of dirty, with the church, politicians. So Martin Luther, German, let me just brush up the audience. Martin Luther, a German priest, he went to the Catholic and put his thesis to say these are inaccuracies. You're not following the scriptures. And because of the Catholic Church created the Pontiff and the Vatican, they ran away and they used They use their power base to hoard wealth. So all religions, all beliefs need reformation, need a time of checks and balances. Islam is a time of checks and balances. I think Islam, it doesn't matter what religion. I'm not just pointing out Islam. It could be Christianity, it could be Buddhist. Sometimes when things, you need an audit. You need to check what is, what is the state of affairs? What is going on? Why is there all this violence? And I said, why are women being brutalized? Why are there hijacking? That there's a problem with Islam. There's no checks and balances. Too many brothers in Islam excuse. He said, well, that's them. They committed acts of violence. I have nothing to do with it. Yes. No, you got to check your brother and say, no, this is wrong. You're not fighting. You're dishonest. All Muslims are ambassadors of the faith. You're supposed to represent is give your put your best face on and wear Islam with pride. And you're not supposed to be doing these heinous, despicable things. But that's the problem. Most Muslims just look the other way and say, well, that's them. No, you need to get involved and say you're dishonoring the tenet. If Islam is a religion of peace, then why are you allowing this to happen? So there needs to be a checks and balances.
So you're saying no religious leaders, no Islamic leaders have made, like for example, they have came out and collectively made a condemnation.
Well, that's one thing of speech. But I'm talking about but Jim Brown. Jim Brown, the actor, the football player, when he went to the black neighborhood, he personally thought about there was gang violence and drugs. He marched, he got involved, he stopped the shooting. It's more than just giving a talk. Talk is good, but you need to see
So you do not think that there are Islamic brothers in the community that are working to uplift the community?
No, I don't. I mean,
make it better.
I don't see them getting on a plane, going there with all sorts of things. Hey, stop it! You're making us look bad. We're not animals. Stop it, Let me get an example of Jim Brown. He marched. Well, I'm just saying that it's one thing giving a combination of speech. Talk is great, but I want to see some heads roll. I want to see you're out of the religion. Like in Catholicism, they're excommunicated. If they see someone misusing their power or they're abusing their authority, they're out. I don't see any Muslims getting excommunicated, put out. You should be on the plane with a march of brothers saying, "Stop this."
Because you don't see it, that doesn't mean it hasn't been done.
It's been going on for decades. And apparently, the effort is not doing much because it's been going on. The hijacks, the killings, the mutilations.
Has the news, in your opinion, has the news media demonized Islam because this is a Judeo-Christian society? Have they not? When you hear about Obama, they always emphasize that he is Arab, he's a Muslim, but when a Christian does something, they never say he's a Christian. Is that not a double standard?
Well, when certain Christians commit acts of violence, it's condemned, and they bring them out, and they confront that person. You are not representing us. I don't see Muslims saying, "Go get in their face, stop this." Go and have a showdown in the face. Go to that mosque and say, "You're preaching violence. We don't hate Jews." Okay,
I don't only want to talk about that.
Okay. I'm just saying that because there is violence, sectarian violence, even in the Shiite Sunni community. You both believe in the same Allah, but yet you said because of the lineage of Prophet Muhammad when he died, who inherited what, and who has the authority to say what and what. But I see it getting out of control. Islam needs to check it back, even when they treat black people, the way they treat women, the way they treat you. So it needs a complete reformation, another Martin Luther. And that's what I'm here to say that now Christianity, I get it. There are fanatics, people do heinous things, but they need to be called out. They need to be Constantine, the one who spoke, he's the one who cherry-picked to choose what books we're going to accept as truth. But I'm just saying as far as black people, I see black people being dishonored, disrespected. They're not valued as people. They're seen as sex. And we can, like we talk about the Hajj. I know many people who don't want to speak out. They got assaulted, and they don't want to give Islam a black eye because they're being disrespected, and they keep quiet. It's underreported. These are mobs of Arabs. Why they see someone going there for salat for prayer, and they get knocked down, pushed down, and called raising a boy and say, "What are you doing here? Get behind me!" So I see a lot of brothers from the nation go over there, and then they try to do the group prayer, and they say, "Hey, boy, get back behind me." So
going to the Hajj is bad.
It's fine. I mean, I say they should have separate events. One event for the Arabs and Muslims to reduce the chance of violence, and one event for the African and blacks. So You know, the Arabs want to have their Salatul prayer, have the event for one day, and then a separate event for the blacks or Africans. So there would be no assaults, because this is going on. It's underreported, but there's assaults. And Africans, black people don't want to rock the boat and cause any gift to Islam or black guys, so they kind of keep quiet. This is unreported, but it goes on. They're not very happy. Some of them leave Islam, either go back to the Nation of Islam or become Christian, or just don't want to be with Arabs because they say, I'm being persecuted because I was born black into a black body. And they make fun of my hair. They think I'm a human being. So
let me ask you something. When you speak this strongly about Muslims, what is going on in New York with Mayor Mariani and the calling the azan, the call to prayer?
We talked about that. He has a loudspeaker.
Are you saying this is wrong?
Well, I'm saying that he's an American.
I'm talking about people praying in the streets, and it's just wrong.
Again, he's an elected, he's an American politician. He's supposed to represent all the people. Now, again, it's one thing having an event, like if you have an event for like you have Columbus Day for a certain day or Cinco de Mayo, but to make it for everybody, you leave it on other people. Other people have the right. This is America, the right to express your beliefs. That's one thing if you made it one day to express. Then the next day you have for the Jewish people, you have the rabbi. Another day you have the Brahmin, the Hindu. But if you just try to force everyone to kind of adhere to one religious, belief or whatever, you said
he's forcing people.
Well, that's great, but what about the other people? What if they don't want to? What if they're not of that faith? So why should you make them participate in that?
There's no compulsion in Islam. Nobody's making anybody.
No, but it's on the public streets to allow the call to prayer, and there's people going to work, and they're saying, like for example, in Islam, I understand, or even with atheists, I've known some people like there was an example, ACLU. There was a case where a teacher had a Bible on a desk in the classroom. She didn't open it, and there was an atheist, a Muslim who was offended, got her fired. And she didn't open. She was not trying to preach the Bible, but again, it seems like it's always one-sided when somebody else, Christianity is, on the chopping block. They're trying to say is that. Another example, a stewardess, she was on a plane and she had a crucifix. And someone was offended by the crucifix. She said they told her to take that off. And then he complained. He was a Muslim or was an atheist, and she was fired because she was not just serving the food. So I think Christianity sometimes is the whipping boy. It's the one. Its head is always on the chopping block that other religions seem to beat up. But this is America. You have the right to wear a crucifix. You have the right to wear a Star of David. You have the right to wear the crescent moon, the honor of the honorable, master. I didn't talk about the master.
But would you say that, first of all, for people that are listening, the name of the show is called The Misconception of Islam from a non-believer's point of view. Okay, so would you say the people in New York that are calling Islam for prayer and praying on the streets, and the mayor wanted to give back and take to the rich and give to the poor, they're wrong, they're incorrect. All of this is inconsistent with the way you think.
You mean his policies about, some people he's a socialist, he wants to redistribute wealth, Bernie Sanders, but
you do not think the rich should pay more.
That's you bringing politics. I thought we talked about religion, but you're saying I'm trying to say about the corporate. Now, if you had an imam, a rabbi, a Christian pastor, all in the same event, different calls of prayer all at the same time. That's we have equal time for equal expression. Yeah. We don't just have one expression. We have a call to prayer for the imam. We have a call to prayer for the rabbi, for the Jewish. We have a call to prayer for the Christian people. And we have a call for the Hindu, the Brahmin. So we don't just have one. So yes, I believe it should be divided equally, not just shoving one thing around. What if I don't?
But since it's not, the Muslims are out of order. When you say, since it is not diversified, like you said, the Muslims are out of order for their actions.
I'm saying I don't live in New York, but I don't think that he should be pushing. Like you say, it's called. Again, everyone should be included. I don't think no one should be left out.
No, that is not what I'm asking you. I say, since they're not doing that, the Muslims are out of
Well, not the Muslim, but the man who is the mayor who's pushing and instigating it. So the Muslims are not the man. He's the one trying to turn New York into Iran, or what they have it called, but in America, again,
and all these people praying in the streets.
well,
Stop yourself.
it's nothing wrong with prayer, but everyone has a way to express or celebrate their own faith. If you have the Muslim, the Christian, the Jew, the Hindu, the Buddhist, Native American, everyone's included. It's like we had a picnic and you had a block club party and you left some of the neighbors out. The block club party is only left for only a few neighbors. I'm like, what about the rest of the neighbors? So we don't like them. That's not for us. So America is supposed to be for everyone. It's supposed to be a melting, a diversification of many faiths, many creeds. We were, my people were here first anyway, but I'm just saying that he is a government official, mayor. He's supposed to represent all the people. He's not just supposed to favor one side. So that is my answer, my response to you, that I don't think the Muslims are, it should be, like you said, are they the problem? He should know better if he represents all the people. He's a New York mayor. He's supposed to be for all the people, not for the poor, the rich, the black, the white, the Muslim, the Jew. He's supposed to have everyone's best interest at heart, not just say, well, I only favor here in Chicago. Brandon Johnson, I know you're a big fan of his, right? No. Brother Bradley, you're a champion of
I'm here to interview you.
Okay.
Okay.
So Brandon Johnson does that. They took a vote at the city hall, for the Palestine, for what was going on with the Israeli attacks against, the Palestinians and the Hamas. Again, this is, he was elected to administer politics, not get involved in religious strife. That the vote in the city hall would not make one difference in Netanyahu or whatever. So he's wasting his time. But I don't like him with some of these. He's a socialist, left-wing Brandon Johnson. He gets involved in all this kind of mini religious. He's here to cut taxes, secure the streets, stop these teen takeovers. Kids are getting out of control. They laugh at his face. He talks about building more community centers, but they're not, they do their own thing. He's not, again, he is not doing what he's elected to do. Well, people want safe streets, safe neighborhoods. They want low taxes. They don't want kids running around crazy. They don't want all this. Brandon Johnson likes to side with, we talked about this, but
me and this guy talks all the time.
So,
but I'm gonna cut on in when you get through.
Okay, but anyway, again, I know in Islam there are people of good people, decent people. I don't want to seem like I'm slamming it. I'm saying there are people of faith and family who are good, hardworking people who are Muslim. I just want to say this: that they're respectable, they're decent, they're not doing all these crazy, terrible things. They're people who want to raise their families, live in peace. They want to be good citizens in America. They're taxpayers. They deserve respect and dignity. At the same time, there's some people acting outside of, they're acting in a way that's not in the. If the Quran is a book of peace and trying to unify people and celebrate people, but they're not doing it very good. These people you see on the nightly news, you ask me, is the media running away with these stories of casting Muslims? It's crazy. I don't think the people doing that are helping. People who hide generic complaints not exactly making it easy for you. You're a peaceful Muslim. You're not out there killing people. I think that they're the ones should be called. I mean, you and some other brothers should get on a plane and call and say, where is these people doing all this crazy stuff? Approach them and say, I tell you, you're out of Islam. You don't represent us. More than just condemnation. Go like Jim Brown in the black neighborhood and march and say, gangbanger, drug dealer, get out of our neighborhood. You're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So Muslims should be more proactive. It's one thing giving a nice speech, but they should get on a plane and find these people and say, you're not a brother. I don't honor you as a brother. You're not following the tenets of Quran. If the Quran indeed is a book of peace and justice, you're not doing us any favor. So you're out. Just like Martin Luther.
I got to get in, brother. Right. I got to get in. And you know what, my next question to you is that Governor Abbott of Texas and government officials, they want to build an Islamic community, and they're saying that there are too many Islamic mosques that are springing up. And in Texas specifically, we don't want that, and we don't agree with it. And what do you think about that?
You're saying that, maybe I understand the question. You're saying
this is Texas. I know that's not your location, your locality, but I'm saying is there are people that are starting to protest that there are too many mosques in the United States of America. And most Muslims want to live in peace. What are your views about what Governor Abbott of Texas is doing?
Mom, if you buy the land, you would convert it to a mosque, and you go, to the city, the council, and they approve it, and that's all I can say. I mean, as far as my sentiment about too many, if a Christian, a pastor wants to buy land and build a church, and he follows the zoning law, whatever is, expected him in the city ordinances, I think you're allowed to do whatever. Now, as far as Governor Abbott getting involved, and the other part said, there's too many Muslims. That's up to the people in the residents, neighbors. They should get. I don't know. I can't really say it's good or bad, but everyone has the right. If they're following the laws, if they want to build a mosque or church, if I want to build a Lutheran church and I'm a pastor, I buy this land and I go through all the paperwork, the city's ordinances, whatever, and I don't think a government official said no. Like now, if I was had a like in New York. They had too many, like I know Mayor Giuliani, it was too many strip clubs. That's different. That's not religious. But there was too many, he said it's just too sleazy. Back in and when he took over in the 90s, it's just too many, like we have vices going on. He is an official, and I don't know, but that's where, we think religion versus, strip clubs, some people, like I say, it's entertainment, it's places, but it kind of attracts the wrong elements. But as far as building mosques, I can't really say it's the same thing as a strip club, but I just say it's up to the people who live in that community. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you don't even live. I get what you said. This is another question, and there are thousands of people. I know we're not in the UK, we're not in France, that want in the UK and England that want the removal of Muslims and immigrants from that country because they think that they're taking in resources, money, and they want the Muslims out of the society. Do you think that that's right? There are thousands that are protesting on the streets saying they want the Muslims out. What do you think about that?
Well, the UK, if we think back to the James Bond movies and the Sherlock Holmes movie, originally the Anglo-Saxons, the whites, now because of the immigration policy, we got new people, new faces, new identity, new culture. The mayor of London is a Muslim. But as far as being too many, now again, that's up to the government officials. And as far as the policy of immigration, now should there be whatever we revoke, like Trump wants to do, and say, well, that administration.
Not Trump, I'm talking about.
I'm just making an example. Okay. Say Trump, how he wants to do things here. In UK, should they revoke their whatever the papers say? Well, that was another administration. That was a different prime minister. I have a different. I don't know. I mean, if I settled with my family and I went through the proper paperwork, it was nothing. I'm not talking about jumping up. No illegal stuff. I'm talking about I immigrated to the UK. I'm from African country, of Middle East, and I fill out the paperwork and I followed everything the government required me to do. And then now that a new prime minister, a new government official say, that was the old administration. I want to revoke that and send you back. No, I don't think that's right. I think that's not proper. If you follow no one is illegal here sneaking under the border. They came here to the UK. They went to the office, and filled out the paper, immigration office, and they have their families rooted. They've been here a while. I don't think they should just uproot them and say, well, we changed our mind. But wait a minute, this is documented.
And you know what? As being you come from a different religious denomination of theology. Do you happen to believe that Islam is the fastest growing religion?
Oh yes, I read in the newspaper that the number's growing, but again, when it comes to black, I know that the black people accepting it, they don't. The thing is, if black people were not if their black people were not being mistreated, and because they're born to a black skin and hair, they're seen as servants and second class. If the Arabs or the white Muslims would stop being so so disrespectful, calling them raising head and boy. Those slang terms from the Quran, raising head
The
and
Prophet
boy.
Islam called them raising
He
heads.
refers to Ethiopians. In the Surah, it refers to, I forgot the exact, but he does refer to Ethiopians as the raising heads.
Wow.
And they see that as empowerment. They say, I can just talk to you. I can assault someone at the Hajj and knock him down. And that black Muslim, it says that a black Muslim, he's not supposed to raise his hand in violence against an.
It says that in the Quran. It says that that's in the Quran, right?
The Prophet Muhammad says, as far as Africans, that as far as how he sees, they got different tiers. The Arabs and white Muslims are the first tier, Africans the second tier, that he saw them as pretty much second class. They're not supposed to raise a hand. They're supposed to pretty much obedience. And
can I ask you something? What does this say? You say that's in the Quran.
I don't have the Quran in front of me, but I'm saying that I don't even have the book in front of me, but I know that I read that
in the Quran.
His sentiment was that.
Welcome to the podcast where we explore Islam through truth, knowledge, and open conversation. Here, we discuss Islamic history, media narratives, world events, misconceptions about Muslims, and the questions many people are afraid to ask. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this platform. Our mission is to encourage respectful dialogue, deeper understanding, and honest discussion about Islam and the global Muslim community. Viewer discretion is advised, because real conversations can challenge perspectives. Now,
what your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you ever see it?
Yes, sir.
And they,
Some people don't know what's in that seat.
They got video screens. I mean, from here to 35th Street.
Those street cameras, right?
Those are the screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I said. But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.
But wait a minute, wow.